What is up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Man Bites Film. As always, I am your host, Brandon. Joining me is the regular crew, William.
Hello, everybody. Always glad to be here.
Lewis.
Hey.
And all right, guys. As always, if this is your first time joining, we are a weekly movie podcast where we have a main review, individual reviews, and we talk also about movie news. So,
Yes.
yeah. The first segment, as I said, is movie news, and that is my cousin's baby, so take it away.
All right. So, first of all, everybody, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. This weekend is
Happy Holidays. No, I'm kidding.
Happy Kwanzaa.
No, it's Merry Christmas now, thanks to Donald Trump. He brought it back.
Yay. Yes. Anyways, so besides that, and now I want to put this disclaimer out there. This is a perfect lead-in. This is a very politically charged episode. We're going to have an alternative episode. So if you don't want to stick around for our pontificating of politics after the movie news.
What a word. Didn't he say this word last time?
Pontificating? No, it was something cock-related last time.
Cockerels.
There you go. That's it. And what's funny is that how
Like
quickly he
cockerels.
remembered.
Yeah.
Oh my
Like,
god. By the way,
awkward.
I want to correct myself. When you were talking about Legend last week, when you reviewed Legend,
Yeah.
I said my favorite devil is from Initial D. I'm going to correct myself. Initial D is an anime of cars. I meant Tenacious D. My apologies. Tenacious D and the Pick of Destiny. Before somebody that's listening is like, this dumbass said called Tenacious D Initial D. So yeah, I meant Tenacious D and the Pick of Destiny. That was my
Pick of Destiny?
City pick or the dick?
No. Tenacious D and the Pick of Destiny.
Tenacious D's nuts.
Yeah. You're so clever.
Whatever.
Wah.
So yeah, I just wanted to correct myself. I'm sorry. So yeah, go ahead, Lewis.
So, speaking of, random shit, Macaulay Culkin apologizes to burglars everywhere over Home Alone. He publicly apologized to burglars.
Did you guys finally watch the Google Home ad?
Yes, I did.
Yes.
That was actually
that was great.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
And Macaulay Culkin is, coming back. What?
Yeah,
Oh.
he's resurfaced all of a sudden. I'm like, what is going on? Yeah, go ahead.
Everybody's losing their shit now because just now they're finding out that the movie he watches with the, is like Merry Christmas and, and it's not an actual movie. It was filmed specifically just for Home Alone. And people apparently have been going nuts looking for this movie. And they come to find out that it's not, and they're losing their shit over it. I'm like, I've known this since the 90s. Come on, people. Come on, man.
Oh, man. Shut up.
Come on, man.
Yeah, it's funny. He has resurfaced because, I follow a YouTuber. It's a group of them called Cinemassacre. And they do movie stuff and also video game stuff. And he has done, 3 videos with them, out of the blue. And I was like, what the hell? Where did Macaulay Culkin all of a sudden, it's like he, crawled out of his cave and he's like, okay, I need money.
Yeah, right. I mean, he had 3 things on the news item this week. He changed his name for fans. I was like, what? He changed his name to Macaulay Culkin. I was like, what?
Get the fuck out of here! Really?
No, I'm serious. There's something. I don't know if it's a publicity stunt or if it's BS, but he publicly said that he changed his name to this.
It's probably a publicity stunt. I feel
I didn't put it in the news because I was like, I haven't checked it. I haven't actually looked at the sources and all this shit. But
it's probably just shock value. Haha, I'm Macaulay Culkin, a guy that's basically after the 90s disappeared.
Yeah.
So whatever.
Talking about 90s, perfect segue.
Hey.
LAPD and the NYPD on their Twitter feed were going back and forth on Christmas Eve with Die Hard quotes.
Awesome.
So I'm actually going to read.
You said 90s and LAPD. I'm like, Rodney King refers to it as well? Here we go.
Didn't that happen last year?
Probably. I don't know.
Oh, my God. Oh my God! Just read the tweets, please.
All right. So LAPD put out on this Christmas Eve. We too would like to acknowledge our partners at the NYPD News for their continuing partnership. They'll always be more than welcome to follow in McLean's footsteps
Wow.
and come to the better coast.
Thank you for listening to our episode. We'll be ending it.
No, if they were following in McCain's footsteps, they would have been POWs. That's a whole different ballgame.
Jesus. Wow, we've really come out of the gate, really politically charged.
Oh, yeah.
Fucking Christ, man. Oh, my God.
McLean's footsteps and come to the better coast and have a party. Yippee-ki-yay and ho-ho-ho.
Oh, man, they didn't say yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker. God.
Well, they can't. It's on Twitter, man.
Yeah.
Wait. I don't use Twitter. Can you not curse in a?
Well, no, you can, but it's like if you're putting it out there for the masses, the last thing you want to use is an F-bomb, and you know,
okay.
They don't have our kind of leeway. We're just kind of like, fuck it.
That's a really long tweet. I thought tweets are only like 40 characters long or something. Jesus.
Well, first of all, there are 140.
Oh, it's 140. Okay, that's a little bit better. That's a little bit better.
Y'all heard the joke about why J.R. Martin doesn't have Twitter, right?
Because his name is fucking huge?
No, because he's already good at killing 140 characters.
Wow.
Okay, I'm going to refrain. I've dropped like 3 F-bombs in a matter of a minute. I'm going to refrain from it. I've hit my quota for today.
This is not going to be a PG episode, by the way.
No, not any chance. Not today. All right, so NYPD put up originally, on this Christmas Eve, we'd like to acknowledge our partners at the LAPD HQ who have been working with us to protect Christmas since Hans Gruber's 1988 attack on Nakatomi Plaza.
Oh, man, that's awesome. That's really cool.
And they tagged Detective John McClane. And yes, it is a Christmas movie.
Yes. Yes.
So I really love that. That was phenomenal. I saw that on Christmas Eve, and I was like, oh my God, that is awesome. Yes.
There's nothing like John McClane and Carl Weathers teaming up to defeat Hans Gruber at Nakatomi Plaza.
Right?
God, I love that movie. You know, I've never seen fun fact about Die Hard. I've seen 1, I've seen 3, and I've seen pieces of the really shitty ones that just came out recently.
Hey, are not shitty. Come on.
I've never seen the second one.
They've gotten shitty.
No, they have not. They're fun, enjoyable movies, no matter what you do.
What's actually funny is that a friend of mine who's a cosplayer, Turbo Time Cosplay, he actually just was in LA, and he cosplays John McClane.
Oh my God.
And he's actually posted pictures. If you go to his Instagram, Turbo Time Cosplay, you'll see pictures of him as John McClane at the actual location where they filmed it.
Like the actual Nakatomi Plaza, whatever the hell.
Coming out of the elevator.
Yes, coming out of the elevator all bloodied up.
Oh my God, yeah.
It was great.
So what I was saying was I've actually never seen Die Hard 2, the one where he's in the airport, right?
Oh, it's so good.
I've never seen that one. I've seen the one where he's with Samuel Jackson, the one with the Hans Gruber.
That's the third one. That's like
that's the
after the first one. That's like the best one there is.
Oh, I like the second one. Come on.
No, I don't like the second one.
Oh.
All right, whatever.
All right.
If you've never seen Die Hard, please. It's a Christmas movie.
Oh my God!
Do yourself a favor. It is the holiday season. Go watch it. But yeah, continue.
John Wick 3, we're finally get the story behind Angelica Houston's character. That's officially been announced, which is awesome. I am so dying to see that. Now, I want to learn more about the hotel. When the fuck are we going to go into the hotel? I want the next one movie to be about the goddamn hotel.
I don't know, dude.
Yeah, whatever. The other story that I want to bring up is going to be a short news segment. John Boyega doesn't remember officially saying that he revealed that there's a time jump of 1 year in episode 9, and he's been harassed by all the Star Wars fanatics out there because they're like, oh yeah, what you just let that loose, and all this stuff, and he's like, I don't remember doing that, but okay.
I got a couple things for movie news.
By the way, real quick, I think we should have a moment of silence for the movie adaptation of the musical Cats, which has been officially announced as having the same exact release date as Star Wars Episode 9. So that's going to be a one-sided battle at the movie theater that weekend. Sorry, Cats.
Yeah.
Better luck next time. But you know what they say, they got 9 lives, so maybe you come back and try again.
Did you really just make a joke like that?
Yep, he did. He went there.
Oh my god.
Are you really so surprised I make jokes like that?
True, that is very true.
Not anymore.
For almost 40 episodes. I should be okay with this by now. Are you done with the movie news?
Yeah, I'm done with my side.
So, Disney came out and said that The Lion King is not a shot-for-shot remake of the animated Lion King. They're saying that it's going to deviate a bit, but keep some of the scenes that people love there. And I'm like, okay, that's interesting.
But everybody loves the whole movie.
I don't know, bro. I don't know.
They actually released one of the previews that we saw. There was a couple of, nobody was really talking yet, but there were a couple of extra quick scenes of The Lion King that were shown at the movie theater, which wasn't bad.
Yeah.
But I'm still looking forward to it. Absolutely looking forward to it.
Surprise, by the time you listen to this, it'll be already out. But tomorrow, December 28th, Black Mirror is premiering their movie called, what is it called? Bandersnatch. Bandersnatch.
I'm so excited.
I've read 2 articles about this movie.
I'm sorry.
I just got that. Yeah.
Who's snatching what?
Bandersnatch.
Why does it sound like it's a Dutch porn movie? Like,
I don't know.
Bandersnatch, yeah?
So I am a little confused. Take this as a grain of salt with what I'm about to say, but I've read 2 articles about this movie, and one of them says that this is a choose-your-own-adventure movie. Now,
yes, it is.
Now, I don't know, because they said that there's a choose-your-own-adventure episode in the next season of Black Mirror. They haven't said that this movie is a choose-your-own-adventure. So I'm a little bit, I don't know if that's true or not, so take it as a grain of salt.
What I heard is that this one that's being released is the choose your own. But I guess we're not going to find out until tomorrow, because I couldn't find any confirmation of that either.
Yeah, also, if it is the choose your own adventure, they say that the movie is about, mind you, choosing everything. If you, I guess, rewatch the movie and choose the different paths, it is a 5-hour movie. They have about 5 hours of footage. So
that's awesome. That's going to be fun.
We talked about this the other week, so I just wanted to bring it up because just for comedic value. Holmes and Watson had a 0 on Rotten Tomatoes.
Thank God. Thank fucking God. The moment I saw Will Ferrell and what's his name, Macy, as Holmes and Watson, I'm like
John C. Reilly.
John C. Reilly. But actually, I have nothing against either of them. But I don't know if you guys preview of John C. Reilly as there's what's the name? Stan and Laurie. The old school comedians. There was old school comedians. It was like the tall, skinny guy, the short, fat guy. Laurel and
Hardy.
Laurel and Hardy. He plays Laurel.
Laurel?
Or Hardy. I don't know. Whichever one, the heavier set one, guys.
Laurel?
Laurel. It's right up there with Dobby, isn't it?
Oh my God, kill me.
I hate you guys.
What's
your cousin's doing?
I know, dude.
Is it Yanni or Laurel?
So, what else we got?
For anyone that doesn't know, the Us trailer debuted, which is the new film by Jordan Peele, the writer and director of Get Out. And
you gotta say it right, Brandon. It's Get Out.
Get Out.
As an exclamation mark. So
the last thing I wanted to bring up, which unfortunately I'm trying to find the manifesto of what he says, but I can't, unfortunately. Did you guys see that Kevin Spacey released a video on YouTube as him dressed up as Frank Wood from House of Cards. Frank Wood,
Underwood.
right? This is Underwood. Frank Underwood from House of Cards. And he's basically in character talking exactly like him, and he's telling the camera that they should fight for him, that he was taken away from them wrongfully. And I'm like, what is going on?
Was this before or after he got indicted? Because they definitely brought charges on him on
the same day. The same time. It was the same day.
It was the same day.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm like, what is going on?
Yeah. Yep.
It was just really weird. I'm trying to find it.
I'm wondering if it's a publicity stunt, the whole thing, and he is going to come back as Frank Underwood.
I don't think so.
No, I don't think so. They charged him with sexual assault to a minor.
This is exactly what he says. I know what you want. You want me back. Of course, some believed everything and have just been waiting with bated breath to hear me confess it all. They're just dying to have me declare that everything said is true and that I got what I deserved. Wouldn't that be easy if it was all so simple? Only you and I both know it's never that simple. Not in politics and not in life. But you wouldn't believe that worse without evidence, would you? You wouldn't rush to judgments without facts, would you? Did you? That's like, I'm like, what is this, man? This is so weird.
Yo, Kevin Spacey has like fallen off the deep end at this point.
Probably. I just
I don't know, man. I don't know what to believe anymore with these guys. Like,
right?
I'm just done. I'm really like, if he ends up getting charged with this shit, I'm gonna be like, what the fuck is wrong with this guy? Like, he's really fucked up. If he's really like, he's legit.
He's indicted for, what was it, touching somebody's son, right? Like at an event.
No, he got indicted for sexual assault on a minor.
Not the guy not the one in his apartment. The one that he's actually facing criminal charges for is somebody at an event like literally 2 or 3 years ago. His underage son was there, and he groped him or did something to him. That's what he's being like charged for. Yeah, it's not the one in the 80s. It's not the one that started it all. It's like one very recent. Because I guess this one they actually have like evidence or something like that. Wow. And it's much more recent. So, but yeah, that literally that stuff. Yeah, that video where he says all that stuff literally dropped the day that he was charged.
Wow, and that is so weird. Disrespectful to the family, dude. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, like, I mean, you're talking about somebody that when like everything came out, and I forgive me for not remembering the names. Everybody knows I'm horrible with it. But when the young actor from Rent came out and said that he had been assaulted by Kevin Spacey.
That's the guy that I'm talking about, the original guy, yeah.
Yeah. Kevin Spacey used that as a platform to come out as gay. Like, who does that? It's like, oh yeah, by the way, I'm gay. It's like, so this is what you use? Like, were you expecting for the gay community to come and rally behind you and go, he's one of us now, don't touch him?
Wow.
Like, because they're not going to do that.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
I don't know what the hell to expect of Kevin Spacey.
It was just a weird coincidence and weird publicity stunt on his behalf that I just wanted to bring up and just hear what you guys thought about it, because
I didn't know about this the new person, because I've been so disgusted with all of Hollywood and how everything is. Like, we joke about it here and stuff like that, even though it's not a place to joke about, but or a subject to joke about, but it's because honestly we can't do anything about it here on our voice, and we can't make any type of decision for these people. And if they get prosecuted, good. They deserve to be prosecuted and put for what they did, if they have the evidence to do it. Now, I also agree with one thing that he said in there, is that people need to stop jumping the gun and accusing people without evidence. I agree with 100%. Now, the delivery that he did it in is god awful and horrible timing, but
I don't know. Maybe
he has a point about that, though.
Maybe it wasn't done on purpose, like in the sense of like it was just coincidence that they both dropped on the same day. Maybe he didn't plan that for that to happen.
I don't know. I felt like that when you reach a certain status.
Yeah.
And again, I'm speculating here.
Yeah,
when you reach a certain status, you have a number of people that will work for you, and that if they know that their job is to know shit before shit happens.
True.
That's what their job is. And you cannot tell me that somebody that's been around Hollywood as much as Kevin Spacey has, with the kind of liaisons that he has, that nobody came to him and told him, hey, by the way, they're about to charge you with all these felonies, just letting you know, and he didn't like have something like that ready to go so that, you know, it would confuse people and people would be like, oh, well, maybe it's if it was an up-and-coming actor, I would buy the whole coincidence act. That I would buy. Somebody that's as very well known and been around as Kevin Spacey, I see it more as this was planned way ahead.
Well, I'm telling you right now what he's doing. He's doing the same thing that Donald Trump did when he ran for president. He's feeding into the fact that people are stupid enough to believe whatever they see in front of them. Because guess what?
You're talking about the whole like Stormy Daniels, all that shit.
Yeah. They believe whatever is put in front of them. And I'm not talking about Stormy Daniels. I'm talking about all the propaganda and bullshit that he fed people. And people believed. All right? That he was going to make a difference. And the same thing with Obama, and same thing with most of our presidents. They've put this fake facade in front of us and saying that we're gonna be about hope and change and all that stuff, and they're not. And all they do is put on this pretty persona in front of people, and people believe it because guess what? People just read the headlines. They don't read further than the headlines. So if they have Kevin Spacey seeing this video the same day that they're getting news about him being charged with all this stuff, that goes to the wayside and his video goes to the front. That's how fucked up our society is. And that's what we're going to go into in this episode, and that's why we chose the movie that we chose.
Woo!
It's a perfect platform.
All right. Stay tuned after this quick little break. We're going to come
So it begins.
And so it begins.
And the words of Samuel L. Jackson, hang on to your butts.
Buckle up for safety, motherfucker. We're going to be coming at you live. Not live. I like saying live, though. It's fun. With the main review of our show, Idiocracy. All right, guys, welcome back for the main review of our show, which is Idiocracy.
America?
Yeah, basically. So Idiocracy is directed and written, right, by Mike Judge.
Yes, it is.
Who is the creator of Beavis and Butthead and all that good shit.
And King of the Hill. What the hell, Bobby?
Damn it, Bobby.
Damn it, Bobby.
Damn it, Bobby. So basically in 2005, Joe...
2006.
2005. Suck my dick. Joe Bowers, played by Luke Wilson. Oh, wow. Oh, wow's brother.
Oh, wow's brother.
Yes.
He works in the army in like a library, right? Like a... Right?
Pretty
I don't
much.
think they really go into the details of it.
Whatever. The guy's a pencil pusher, and basically he's the most average human being you could possibly think of. And the army decides to get him and a prostitute and do an experiment on them and basically put them into hibernation for a year.
Played by Maya Rudolph.
Maya Rudolph.
Yes.
Maya Rudolph. Oh, God, what a last name. I apologize for chuckling at your last name. My apologies. God,
you're not.
I'm such a shitty human being. You know what? My cousin and I have a very funny name that sounds like cow. Okay? Like a cow in Spanish. And people have made fun of it, man. So I'm going to make fun of Rudolph. No, I'm kidding.
Oh, that's right, bro. La vaca, bro. All the way.
La vaca. So basically...
Did she have a red nose, too? Just like Rudolph?
No, she doesn't.
Only the nights that she's doing coke.
So they put them into hibernation, and the head army dude that's in charge of this experiment gets busted for having a prostitution ring.
Yeah.
And they forget about the project, and they bulldoze the building they're in with the 2 pods that they're in, and 500 years pass by. And the great the great garbage avalanche of 2505 happens.
Yeah, yep. But hold on. You're missing the greatest sequence of the whole movie is the montage that explains how we get from this point to that point, which
fuckers and all that shit.
Oh my god, it is great. It's one of the greatest montages of all time in film.
Yeah,
and
basically, it explains that humankind becomes very dumb. Very, very dumb.
I really don't know if I would put something of all time from a movie like Idiocracy, other than the fact that it's now a documentary.
Oh, come on. This movie is brilliant in so many different ways. And it has...
Why are you saying Oh, my...
What?
Why are you calling it a documentary? I think I know why.
Because we're living it right now.
I know, but
not only are we living it right now, we're seeing it as a future. The Rock's running for president. Come on.
Is that really a thing?
Oh, that's really a thing.
I don't know if that's really a thing, but
that's a real thing. He's running for it. He's doing it. That's it.
When I see Kanye West running for president, run for the hills, my dude.
Yo, for real.
So yeah, the Great Avalanche of 2505 happens, and they're on top of this massive mountain of garbage, and they fall and are broken out of their hibernation pods. And yeah, the entire movie is them two trying to get back home because they are promised by a guy named Frito that there is a time machine. Oh, and by the way, the president of the United States is played by Terry Crews.
Yes,
best thing ever.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. Go ahead, Lewis and William. Like, I don't even know where to start, dude.
We're taking lead now.
Oh, this is gonna be brilliant.
Go ahead.
So it devolves very quickly into basically going down the rabbit hole, much like Alice in Wonderland, where you literally see complete shit going on that you could never imagine for life. There's no water; it's all Gatorade now. Water has been replaced with Gatorade.
When he drinks, he's like, "It's fucking Gatorade."
And then everybody, literally all they do, their apartment is consistent of a giant screen TV and a couch. That is their apartment. And
that has a built-in toilet. And people have just become ridiculously lazy and ridiculously stupid.
Yeah.
Thus the name of the movie, Idiocracy. And it completely shows how society is devolving into what we're seeing nowadays. That people don't read further than just the headlines. They don't read into anything. And we have elections like we did 2 years ago and the last election. And we see the complete lack of respect for authority and lack of respect for our country, honestly. It's
funny watching this movie. Like, they say so many things in this movie that I'm like, that would not fly nowadays, man.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
They throw fag and what's the other one? And retarded so much in this movie that you're like, whoa, holy. Yeah, because basically when he starts talking to everybody in wherever the hell he is, they all say that he talks like a retarded fag. I don't know what that means, but yeah, because they all sound really dumb when they talk. They're like, yeah, like I can't even like mimic the way that these
sound like the SoCal stoners from California.
They really do. Actually, half of them have like. Bro, did you notice how large the cigarettes are in the movie?
Yeah.
Like the Secretary of Defense, the people that work for Terry Crews in the White House, they have like the most massive cigarettes. It's just dumb. But yes, watching it, I was like, wow, this is so similar to what is happening nowadays. And that this movie came out so the movie takes place in 2005, but the movie came out in 2006.
Yeah.
So 12 years ago.
Yeah. And then there's a funny line that the attorney general says, going back to the Gatorade thing. The guy goes, "Water?" ? Like out of the toilet.
Yeah.
I love that. That's great.
Oh my god! One of my favorite scenes when he at the beginning when he goes to trial, and Frito is representing him, and the prosecutor just destroys him. It's like, yeah, man, like he broke in, and he's. And I'm like, what is going on, dude? This movie's so dumb. It's just, I don't even know. William, help me out here, please.
I don't even know. Like, I'm watching it and I'm going like
Brondo.
Brondo. Like I like Dax Shepard in this movie because like he seems like he had a lot of fun with it. Yeah. Being able to like be he's one of those like not stupid comedians, but just like he does good parody comedy, and you could see he was very much in his element in this movie. And Woe's brother, just
did you just say Woe's brother?
I said Woe's brother.
Oh wow!
Oh wow! You guys.
Oh wow, you guys!
I really wish that his brother would have made a cameo in this movie though, because that would have been perfect.
Owen Wilson showing up in this movie.
Owen Wilson, be like, when he goes up and explains his story and whatnot, and he's like, "This is the guard," and he just looks at him and goes, "Oh wow."
Oh my god! I would have lost my shit if that happened.
Right? Oh my god! There's so many great lines in it. There's another one that stood out to me that I wrote down. It was the narrator that said it, and he goes, unaware of what year it is, Joe wandered the streets, desperate for help. But the English language had deteriorated into a hybrid of hillbilly, valley girl, inner city slang, and various grunts. Joe was able to understand them, but when he spoke in an ordinary voice, he sounded pompous and faggy to them.
Can we?
Great.
I'm reading the character names, and why is it that they all sound Hispanic of some sort? President Camacho, Frito Pendejo, like what?
That's because we're gonna end up taking over the world. That's it.
That's right. Hey, hold on a sec. You're Italian.
I was born in Chile. I'm more Latino than you two combined.
Shut the hell! Do you know how to speak Spanish?
Un poquito.
Un poquito. Now, can you hear me with that Italian, dude? Can you talk to me real dirty in Italian?
Oh, because of Waikititica.
Oh, what the hell does that mean?
Oh boy,
that sounded really dirty. What was that?
What do you want me to say?
Really?
That's all I said. What do you want me to say?
Why does it sound so dirty?
I had an Italian foreign exchange student in high school, and I think they taught me how to say "suck my dick." Of course, because you always learn like the really horrible terms.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, what was it? Suki el Mikatsu?
That's close. Yeah.
Yeah. No,
I'm not gonna correct you when we're on the air, but we'll talk about it later.
No. Correct me, please. Teach me your ways, master.
This is something I never thought I would ever have to talk to you about. But
please, William, say that you want me to suck it.
Wow, we're going there.
So anyway, what's our next segment?
By the way, can we talk about the giant things called, what was it? The ass wrap?
Yes, and then they give him like this little car with like a dildo attached to it.
Oh my god, no. The whole movie was brilliant, but let's go into a little bit of the stuff that's actually behind it. Like, honestly, the reason that
I'm afraid to.
Why are you afraid to? Come on now.
No, I'm not, but
like, no, honestly, like
that was a nervous laugh, William.
Yeah, right.
Don't deny it. He was like, oh shit.
Like, no, let's all get our opinions across on this, and let's be clear about it. This movie actually does represent what we're seeing nowadays. It's actually seeing way into the future what we're actually going to become if we don't change the way that we are. And that's one of the things that Mike Judge has always done, from Office Space to Beavis and Butthead. It's all a critique on modern society. Even Beavis and Butthead, as stupid as it was, it actually is a critique on teenagers of that era, because it was that's how stupid most of the teenagers were. And it's just that mindless following without any type of understanding and all that stuff. That's what we're going to get into, and that's what we're going to fall into if we don't change the way that we are. And that's what this movie brings out. And that's why I wanted to bring this up, because it's important to talk about this shit. It's uncomfortable, but it's important.
No, and you're right. And, I mean, it's to some degree, it's always been like that, to where the brains have always been kind of like put down by the bronze. Look at back in like in high school, why did the jocks rule? Because the jocks are the ones that, physically as humanity, we've always put the muscles in front of the brain. And this has been, where a lot of hatred and, why can't we stop and like not make and not have wars? Or, there's so much. And we're, like you said, we are going down the wrong path. And in the past few years, it just seems like we have gone a lot further down the rabbit's hole than in the past.
Yeah. But then again, there's movies like this and movies that we could bring up that are important, because once we actually start having a conversation and bringing out a civil conversation, mind you, civil conversation is key word in this. This is something that politics has become very heated, and that's why people avoid talking about politics, and that's not the way it should be. People should be able to have a conversation like all three of us have had about politics, but now we don't want to do it on the air because we don't want to have that controversy behind us. Why is it controversy talking about a subject that's so important?
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Whoever that was it Samara?
That was Samara. But what's funny is that like that thank you came right on perfect timing after what Louis just finished saying, and I was like, I literally looked around and looked at my headset. I'm like, am I on speaker right now? Like,
I thought she was actually legit saying it for her.
So did I. I'm like, wait, she couldn't have heard it because I have the headset plugged in. I thought maybe my headset fell off, and then I realized that the delivery guy brought food.
But no, but honestly, like that's why I wanted to bring this episode up, because this is a perfect forum to have this conversation, and in a civil way. Like I want everybody that's listening to this episode, reach out to somebody on the opposite side and do a conversation with somebody that's civil. Like, we keep it civil.
Not that we three cannot. I'm saying that most people cannot. We live in a day and age where, like, you don't agree with my views, then I'm gonna attack you for that.
That shouldn't be the way it is, though, and that's
I agree. It shouldn't.
If we keep doing that, then we're gonna keep running into this issue, and we're gonna keep going down this path, because then people are just gonna be one-sided, and they're not gonna see a different side. You know how many times I've changed my point of view because somebody brought up a good point? Because I listen, I stop. I actually listen. And even William, he's had a conversation with me about politics, and he's changed my point of view on things. Why? Mm-hmm. Because I actually listen, absorb, and pay attention to what's being told. And I'm willing to acknowledge that I'm wrong. I don't know everything. Nobody knows everything. Everybody needs to be able to be willing to have a conversation about things and actually willing to learn about what they can and can't do. And that is very important, especially in politics, because this is the future of our country. And if we keep just taking little tidbits and little headliners and all that stuff and information like that, then we're never going to progress as a species further than what we are now. And that's sad, because that's the same faults. And this is, I'm a huge history buff, so I'm gonna throw this in there. Is that's the same thing that happened to Rome. The reason it fell was 3 different things: lack of education, corruption in government, and immigration. And now I'm not gonna go.
You're against immigration. I'm not.
No, I'm not. I'm not against immigration at all, and that's why I'm like, I want to clarify this, because it's not that I'm against immigration. It's that the Roman Empire fell because of the barbaric tribes from the north that invaded. And what they came and they had no willingness to integrate into the society that they were going into, which that is a problem that we're experiencing it now as well. Is that we're experiencing people not willing to integrate into American culture, not willing to learn English, not willing to change and adapt to our society. They want their previous society that they came from to adapt, for us to adapt to that. And that's not the way it should be. That's not immigration. That's just, perpetuating the same things that happened in your country that you're running away from, which that's not the way it should be. Now, this whole thing about the wall and all this bullshit, because let me tell you, it's bullshit. Even Trump said it himself. He's like, oh, look at that. This and this and that. And we defended against all these people, the caravan, this and that and the other. The wall hasn't been built yet, buddy. The wall hasn't been built. What the fuck are you talking about? What are you arguing? Are you arguing your point or our point?
He's just stupid. My man
are you talking about what I saw earlier and I posted earlier because I was looking up on Facebook right now?
Yeah,
the tweet where he's like...
Yeah, that one.
Mm-hmm. That was perfect time, yeah. And I quote, "With so much talk about the wall, people are losing sight of the great job being done on our southern borders by Border Patrol, ICE, and our great military. Remember the caravans? Well, they didn't get through, and none are forming or are on their way. Border is tight. Fake news silent." And somebody responds going, "Hey, stupid, thanks for accidentally admitting we don't need a wall."
Yeah, I know. And
earlier today, I even posted like he did like a surprise visit out in the Middle East.
Yes.
And in one of the meet and greets, there's an entire Navy SEAL team on video. You don't put Navy SEALs on video because they're not supposed to be there. We don't know what they do. So now, knowing where he was, we know where they're stationed. That was another great move by our great president today.
How do they know that they're Navy SEALs?
Because if you're military, like, you know that they wear certain gear. They have certain gear that other normal military don't.
Gotcha.
And they were like their call sign, and even there's an Asian doctor, which I don't know if it was Chinese, Japanese. I don't want to get it wrong, but who said that he was one of the doctors. He told the president, "I'm one of the medical engineer for SEAL team whatever number," and he goes, "Oh, well, in that case, we should totally take a picture together." Took a picture with him and posted it on his Twitter.
Wow.
I'm like, can you not, please? Like, yeah. But
yeah, right. No, it's just, and it's not only him, man. It's not only him. It's like the biggest fault of Trump, in my opinion, and this is completely my opinion, and I want to stress that out to the max.
This has gone from talking about Idiocracy to talking about Donald Trump. I have no problem with that. I'm just saying.
Well, no,
I mean, it's kind of the same thing anyway.
Yeah, exactly. That's the whole point of this, to bring this up into a conversation. Like, the biggest thing about him is that he has no filter, and in a bad way. It's not in the, oh yeah, finally we have somebody that speaks like the people. No, it's a filter in a bad way that's going to get us in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
All right?
It already has.
Well, yeah. And the president all he is a figurehead. He has really not any control over anything. Let's be real, guys. Like, yeah, they say he has control over this and that and the other, but let's be real. It's usually somebody else that's behind the scenes that does stuff that's actually in control of him. The president has been a puppet for a very long time now. And they're all being, it's all part of an agenda that's being addressed by either party, whoever it is. And we're all going down this path that if we don't change and we don't wake up and actually read, learn, teach about things that actually need to be taught, and bring up all the issues that need to be brought up, because it is extremely important that people become educated about what they're doing in politics. Because if not, you're just going to become part of the problem, and we're going to fall into what this movie represents. So we got to change course drastically. And no, doing a slogan saying, I voted, oh, yay. Did you do your research before you voted? That should be the propaganda. Do research before you vote, not just go out there and vote randomly, whatever Facebook tells you to vote. No, that's not the way it is, guys. You got to do education. You got to learn. You got to figure things out. Make your own opinions. Don't just be blindly into things.
And we just had like the what do they call the mid-elections? The last month? Yeah. The midterms, thank you. And now apparently Joe Biden had he came out with a statement, and a lot of Democratic people are like, oh, well, if this is who's going to be, representing the Democratic Party, then in 2 years, then, I'm not going to be voting for him. And it's like, but this is what got us in trouble now. This is what got us where we are now, where it was like, oh, Bernie Sanders didn't get the nod for the Democratic Party. Well, I'm not voting for Hillary because, she's not Bernie, so I'm not going to vote. And that's how we ended up with Trump. For one of the reasons, I'm not saying it's the only reasons, obviously. Yeah. But one of the reasons, it's oh, well, because the person I wanted didn't make it, then I'm just not going to. This isn't sports, people. Just because your team doesn't make the finals doesn't mean that you're oh, well, I don't care about the World Series, or I don't care about whatever the hell it is.
But maybe they just don't agree with
Let me tell you, it was a rough choice this last election, and I ended up voting third party this last election because I refused to. I couldn't rightfully vote for either one because I just didn't agree with either one of their policies. And Gary Johnson wasn't going to win. So I said, screw it. I'm voting third party. I am not going to support either one of them. Even if I'm throwing away my vote, I'm not willing to put my name on a ballot that says I voted for Donald Trump. I voted for Hillary Clinton. They're both crooks and scoundrels. And that's the problem. That's also a problem that we have, is that when we go through our primaries, people aren't paying attention. They need to pay attention in their primaries and vote what they need to. They got to look at the candidates that are being brought up in the primaries, because then you actually have realistically a lot bigger voice to be able to make an opinion and actually make your opinion heard. People don't vote in the primaries as much as they do in the general election, and that's horrible.
I've also been an advocate of the opinion of, if you want to put it that way, that if you want to run for president, you should be able to run for president, not be and I understand why, it's okay, we have to have the, because if you end up with 6 Democratic people running and only 1 Republican, then that obviously that is, the Republican's going to win every time. But come up with a way where it's if you want to run. You
I don't see why we only have 2 parties. I agree with you on that.
Well, George Washington said that when he was elected president, the first president of the United States, he said that if we ever had 2 parties, it would be the death of this country.
Yeah, and that is the truth. I mean, we've lost complete sight of everything that we're doing in this country. We've completely lost perspective of what we represent and what we mean as a country. And that's horrible. We literally have lost everything. All our representation that we did. We've become England. If our forefathers saw what we became, they would have kicked our asses.
Oh, for sure.
But we still got our Second Amendment that nobody wants to touch, because God forbid. We could be living in a complete shithole right now, but as long as we got our guns, because it's in the Constitution, God forbid we change anything else.
That's a topic for another day.
Yeah.
But anyways, did you guys have any other opinions or anything else that you wanted to bring up since we're talking about it?
I mean, I'm pretty sure we have a lot more opinions, but in the interest of time, I think that we've covered pretty much what needs to be covered and talked about.
I agree.
All right.
All right. So stay tuned for this quick little break, and we're going to come at you with the individual reviews. All right, guys, welcome back for the final segment of our show, the individual reviews. I'm going to be going first this week, and I decided to review something that I had been seeing trailers for on Netflix, and that is Birdbox. The movie that starred Sandra Bullock. What?
I said so much for the 5-minute mark.
Why? What happened?
Oh, no, because this is one of like the hot topic movies right now that's out. No,
it's fine. So yeah, basically the movie is Sandra Bullock is pregnant. Oh, the movie goes back and forth between the present and the past. And basically Sandra Bullock is in the past. It shows her basically she is pregnant and she's with her sister, and these weird things have been happening around the world that people say they see something and it makes them kill themselves. So this sounds oddly like The Happening, the M. Night Shyamalan Ding Dong movie.
Yep, he beat me to it.
So the guy that wrote this book said that he wrote it before, and he actually was worried that movie was gonna fuck it up. But actually, the book is very well received. So yeah, basically, it's happening in Europe, and then basically it starts happening there. And
this is your lighthearted movie, Brandon.
Well, it's better than politics. And basically, she starts surviving in a house with a couple, the group of other people, and basically they start learning that they need to blindfold themselves. They need to cover the windows so that they cannot see outside. By the way, these things that they see, you cannot see them. They are invisible. They never really go into detail about what the hell these things are.
Kind of like The Happening.
Yeah,
I think what it is that they're all hallucinating, and it's a pathogen that's actually got released into the air. They actually go into it a little bit, saying that it was a conspiracy, that the government actually released something into the air.
So, one thing I'll say is that it does not affect crazy people.
Yep.
And then the present of the movie is Sandra Bullock. 5 years in the future, she's with two children that are named the boy and girl.
Yeah.
And she is basically traveling to a community that says that they are safe.
Yep.
But the thing is that they're going down a river and they're blindfolded.
Yep.
And the movie's all right. Definitely Sandra Bullock is the driving force in the film.
Oh, but the movie was so good. Like, it goes into a lot of conspiracy.
You saw it too?
Yes, I saw it. It was great.
Okay.
I thought it was so good because, and you're talking about this is not political. This is a big political film. Are you
think so?
Oh, yeah. This is like, you're talking about government conspiracies right here, and you're talking about the whole use of chemical weapons against populace.
But
which
the thing is,
we do that now.
Because I don't remember them. I'll take your word for it. I don't remember them ever saying implicitly that it is the government, but it's weird because you never see the creatures or whatever the hell it is, but they do whisper to people. And when they see it, they immediately go crazy, and it either makes you want to kill someone else or kill yourself.
And they go into a kind of, to explain why it doesn't affect the people that are quote unquote crazy, is because they're on medications that are actually stopping the what do you call it? They're attacking certain parts, their serotonin levels and everything else that stops them from hallucinating the way that they would if they weren't taking these medications.
But then that doesn't make sense, because they come across a group of them 5 years into the future when literally at this point mankind is desolate. There is no civilization whatsoever. I sincerely doubt that these people are still taking medications.
Or it might be just that they're like something wrong with them chemically and they can't.
Yeah.
So I mean that it plays. It's all chemical and induced. That's that. It's for certain that it's all chemical induced, and I think that it all stems back from some research bullshit that the government did, and John Malkovich's character talks about it.
Oh my god, I hated him so much.
Oh, he plays such an asshole. But
oh my god, I hated him so much. Definitely. Sandra Bullock and John Malkovich are like the driving forces in this movie, like hands down.
Yeah.
And the guy that plays Gary, that character, he does a good job too.
Yes, he does.
I don't know if you remember that character.
Yes.
Okay. Birdbox, would I recommend? Like, I don't know. Like the entire movie, I was like, this is enjoyable, but at the same time, I was like, this is just, it's too hokey.
Really?
I was like, there was a bunch of times where I'm like, this is literally like they would not be able to survive. Like bullshit that you would be able to get around the world like that if you're like legitimately blind, driving a car. Dude, at one point they get into a boat with rapids.
Well, they did it badly.
Yes, they do it badly for sure.
I mean, they crash into things. They kind of play that off pretty well if you look at it, and I thought it was pretty enjoyable. I mean,
look, honestly,
it's not Annihilation. It's not one of these.
You want a better movie where they're cutting one of the senses out? Watch A Quiet Place.
Oh yeah,
watch that. That is a much better movie than Bird Box. I'm not saying that
poor-man version of Quiet Place.
Yes, I'm not saying that Bird Box is bad by any stretch of the imagination. It's not, but it's not like fantastic either.
No, it's not.
I would definitely give it like 6.5, 7.
I'll give it a 7.
Yeah,
I agree with you on that.
Yeah, definitely. More on the 6.5, but yeah.
Oh, you watched it too, William? Okay, I didn't know.
I watched I started watching it and then stuff came up. I haven't finished it yet, but from where I left off, I'm like, okay. And from the sounds of it, doesn't sound like it really picks up much from where I left off.
The payoff is pretty good.
Let's just say I was more invested with the past than I was with the present. I'll say that.
Okay. All right.
With that section of the movie. But yeah.
And I mean, John fucking Malkovich, that's all. I mean,
yeah,
exactly.
yeah. It's all right. I guess I did choose a slightly political movie, but whatever. All right, who's next?
Whatever. I'll go next.
Okay.
I picked a movie which I actually, from the moment I first saw it a few years ago, I thoroughly enjoyed it, and it's Enemy of the State with Will Smith and Gene Hackman.
Yes.
1998 movie.
Yes.
And this was like before we even thought about the NSA really. At the time that it came out, it was seen more as like a conspiracy theory movie because it's about the government spying on you and listening in and breaking into your house while you're out and putting in wiretapping cameras, wiretapping, which, if they ever did that in my apartment, good luck with that, because somebody just went blind watching stuff that I do around my apartment. So, just saying, there's certain things certain apartments you don't want to do that in. But at the time, it was almost seen as a little bit like a sci-fi movie more than anything else. And it was seen as a far-fetched movie, whereas now that we know what we know about what the government is actually really capable of and what they do, it's like, how far-fetched and how, it's like one of those movies that people say was done before its time.
Yep.
Or came out before its time. And I highly agree to that. Gene Hackman does he's the one that plays the part of the conspiracy theorist, how the government's always watching. John Voight plays a really good bad guy. Will Smith was still at the time where Will Smith was a very bankable actor.
Incredible actor, you mean?
This is around the time of Welcome to Miami or whatever the song. His rap career is very small.
Yeah, I mean, like he was right after Fresh Prince had finished.
Bad Boys and stuff like that. Yeah,
like Bad Boys, I think had come out right around the same time. So the name Will Smith was like, oh, we're gonna go watch a really good movie, and it was, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. And now that we know that the NSA does what it does, it's a little scary because it's like, so exactly how much did they know about this back then that they were actually? It's not more of a sci-fi movie. It's we're trying to warn your ass movie. But like I said, even now it's very true to. Again, I don't want to call it a documentary, but it's a lot closer to reality than it was when it first came out. And we've seen many movies like that before and ever since, but for some reason, this one's always the one that stood out for me. So I highly recommend it. I give it, for the genre and for everything in it and whatnot, I give it a good 8 out of 10. 8.5 out of 10. Obviously not your family movie, but a good, maybe even like a sit-down date movie. Watch and then you can talk about it after. Difference of opinion.
There's nothing like watching Enemy of the State and Grow Up in a Tit,
Right? Wow. I mean, and if she looks at you and be like, "Why are you trying to grope me?" You'd be like, "It's the government." Just saying.
Wow, we went there. That's brilliant.
Like Netflix and chill. No, Netflix and being watched. But, huh?
Oh my God. Okay.
Anyway,
Lewis, wrap it up, baby. Wrap it up.
All right.
Netflix and wrap it up.
Wow.
Netflix and chill, baby.
All right. So the movie that I want to do, it's going to be politically charged. You guys know that. It's Mogli, Legend of the Jungle. This is a 2018 film directed by Andy Serkis.
And it's directed by him?
What? Yes. And he plays Baloo as well. With Benedict Cumberbatch as Shere Khan.
Cumberbatch's in it. Cool.
Yeah, Kate Blanchett is Ka. And Christian Bale is Bagheera. And this
the one that was gonna come out in theaters, but Netflix bought it, right, or something like that.
Yep.
Okay, gotcha.
Yep. This is the real story of the Jungle Book. It actually goes into the actual story that was written back in the day, and it basically is about this boy that's adopted by the jungle, the creatures of the jungle, and the reason that they chose him to raise him and be part, obviously because his parents died because of Shere Khan, which is that's kind of the story in the Disney version. But in reality, what they were trying to do was to teach the kid the ways of the jungle so he could go back to mankind and actually show them what the creatures of the jungle represent and show them why deforestation and preservation should be a thing, why they should fight for these creatures that can't fight against humans. And that's the original intention of the book and the movie, was to show that this nature is actually meaningful and that we should be protecting it. And this kid Mowgli was supposed to be the catalyst and the person that they chose to harbor those feelings and actually take that on to the humans and actually carry that message. And it's a very important message because, let's be real, guys, we're losing a lot of different animals to extinction because of deforestation, because of us encroaching on their habitats. And it's a very political issue, yes, and there's a lot of stakes and a lot of people arguing points and all that stuff, saying that yes, we're preserving enough, that, the other. No, we're not, guys. There's never enough preserving when it comes to nature. We should be able to go anywhere within an hour and see nature. It's ungodly that we have to take an hour out of our lives to drive somewhere so we could see trees.
Some places you can't even do. Well, I mean, if you see trees, that's one thing. But if you're talking about being like out in nature, there's some places you can't even do that. Like I live in New York City now. I mean, you drive for an hour. I mean, in some cases, you don't even out of the city, let alone traffic. But it's from New York City. You almost have to go to you have to go to New Jersey to see the closest nature thing. We are the only.
Those are landfills.
Because of landfills. Wow. We are the only species on Earth that have to alter the Earth itself in order for us to survive. No other animal or species on this green Earth has to do that. Every other animal adapts. We're the only ones that forces the Earth to adapt.
Yeah.
And we suck, baby.
No, it's a big issue, and it's something that this movie actually presented in a very lighthearted and very, it's not hitting you over the head, which I really, really appreciated in this movie. It's a very subtle message that is played in a way that you understand this message, and it comes across very clearly, but it's not hitting you over the head like you're an idiot. So yeah, it is a fantastic movie. I give it an 8 out of 10, and I definitely recommend it to everybody. Now, only thing I want to tell everybody is that they do whitewash the cast. So yes, it is whitewashed, but it is still an enjoyable movie, and it has a valuable message that should be presented.
He just said it's an enjoyable mess. Oh, that was too funny. Sorry.
But yeah,
Freudian slip, baby. It was there.
Yeah, right.
All right, guys.
I'm gonna go on record real quick and saying that the best movie to date, and this is my opinion, but that's made about saving a jungle or a rainforest or making us aware of how nature and how it is creating Molly. Exactly. Ferngully. That was the best movie to date made out.
Oh yeah. That's a 10 out of 10 for me, dude.
Robin Williams,
and Tim Curry. Come on now.
Oh yeah, I forgot Tim Curry's in it too.
Come on. He was the Sludge.
Yes.
Who forgets that? And it's like, oh my god, yes. One of the best songs ever.
But anyway, moving on. Sorry.
All right, guys. So that's the end of our politically charged episode. Thank you, William. Damn, did everybody die?
No, I'm here. I'm sorry. Absolutely. You caught me. I wasn't ready for thank you, William, so quick. I was drinking.
Wait, did you just like shove something very large and food, like very large food?
I swallowed an ice cube because I was expecting you to say thank you that damn quickly.
Sorry, I didn't almost make you choke. My bad.
There's a mini Death Star lodged in my throat right now.
So thank you.
You're very welcome. Thank you as always. Shut your face.
Thank you, Lewis.
Thank you.
I am Brandon, and we will see you guys on the next episode of Man Bites Film. See you later.
Toodles.